Hello everyone. What I'm here today to show you is a thing called WordWall, which is an activity maker. You can use it on interactive whiteboards like this Promethean board here. If you've just got a projector, that's fine too. And one of the purposes, I think one of the chaps before was asking, passing a bit of paper around. If you want to write down your name and your school name and your email address on it, I'll send you a copy of this so you can go and use it. So by all means do that if it is floating around. But really, myself and a colleague of mine, we started making this because we were looking at the way that teachers were using interactive whiteboards in the classroom. And a lot of teachers, they divided down into two groups really. You had a kind of maybe more old-fashioned teacher who'd go up to the board, they'd scribble some notes and show a video or do something. And they didn't really kind of get much advantage out of this quite expensive bit of kit, above and beyond an old-fashioned whiteboard and a TV really. So I want to make it easy for those teachers to make stuff. The other group of teachers who were looking at were often a bit more sort of ICT savvy, and they would spend a lot of time creating these slides in Smart Notebook or PowerPoint or whatever. And you'd see their lesson because it'd have like the lesson objective up on the first slide, and then they'd kind of click it, and then move to slide 2 and then talk a bit, and then move to slide 3 and then talk a bit more, and move to slide 4 and talk a bit more. And I think it's probably a bit more the thing in secondary and primary to be fair. But what was really tragic is their lessons are a lot less interactive if they never turn the interactive whiteboard on in the first place. So we want to make something that's actually about doing stuff with the class. So people saying, oh, this is a bit odd one out, that's a missing word, these items belong in these categories, this definition belongs with that keyword. It's actually about doing stuff, often teacher mediated, but doing stuff as a whole class rather than just being like a lecturer talking over stuff. Anyway, I'll stop waffling on about it. What you also might discover is there are these handsets floating around. If you haven't got one, there are a couple kicking around at the front. But the idea with these is they're a bit like a voting pad, but if you've seen voting pads before, they're normally a bit like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for telly. Everyone votes A, B, C, D, and it kind of spits up a graph. And with these, you can use them in lots of different ways. And I'll show you some of the ways you can use it other than the quiz, which it does as well. Anyway, so we've got these things which are the WordWall wizards, and these are some of the activities you can make. And I'm going to show you a few of these. So I'm going to start with a sentence maker here. I'm going to type in a little sentence. Maybe a bit of Shakespeare, why change a habit of a lifetime. So I'm going to render this up on the board. And what you can see is when I type it in, it renders up as these kind of tiles. And these tiles provide interactive objects you can manipulate through the board. Now, I don't think we've got a Promethean pen, so you can make the imaginative leap to me. It's actually on the board. But we can flip these tiles over, and we could reveal some of the words, and I could say to my class, there's an sentence, and I'm also going to like some windows and stuff. So here's my classroom. There's my class, okay. And then I can pick them up, and I can put them into their seat. And then let's say, having kind of sat them in their places, I want to ask one person a question, pick someone out of the class, or to perform a particular task. I can use this thing called the spinner. And the idea of this spinner is it's like a kind of fickle finger of fate, so it picks on that at random to answer a question, so you can see who's it going to land on. So you can see. Okay, so let's say that lands on Jess. Jess has answered that question. Maybe I have as well. I helped Jess to answer it. So now when I'm on the spinner again, it selects from the remaining sheets. I reckon about half the teachers who use the software only use it to do that. Yeah. So if you take one thing out, but there is a lot more. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing I could do is I could, let's say I want to move my class, I want them to get them to sit in their seats, the different seats, do some working pairs. I can use this thing called swapping and move people around. But I've got Jemima here, she's sat at the teacher's desk in the front because she's been a bit naughty, a bit disruptive. So I'm going to lock Jemima into her seat and we're going to move everyone else. So these are some of the things you can do, and you can do lots and lots of other stuff. There are, how long do you want me to go on for?
Lunchtime.
Okay, right, so very, very quick, this is like the simple text. So with this, I'm going to type in the names of some animals. Do you want to suggest some animals for me? Hippopotamus.
Michael Gove.
Any more?
Oh, tropical.
Dog.
Sheep.
Sheep.
Diplodocus.
How do you spell that?
D-I-P-L-O-D-O-C-U-S.
D-I-P-O-L... Dippo. We'll go with Dippo. Okay, any more? Fox.
Hamster.
Hamster, awesome. Okay, how are we doing here? So, one more.
Meerkat.
Meerkat. Well done, amoeba as well. So, I've got my keywords in there. Now, can you see down the right-hand side, you've got these banks, sort of image bank, text bank, activity bank. The idea of these banks, they make it very easy for you to get your resources into your wall. So, say for example, I wanted a picture of a hippopotamus, I could go to the image bank and I could search for hippopotamus, and it'll then go online and I can pick up my picture of a hippopotamus and I can drag it into a wall. If I wanted a picture of a sheep, I could go there and I can search for sheep, and it'll get my sheep and I can pick them up and I can drag them in. So you can kind of see it's a pretty quick way of getting these images. Cute, hey? So a pretty quick way of getting these images into your wall. Now, let's say for example here, I search for a picture of a meerkat, but this meerkat, I don't want to put on the tile, I want to put it behind the tile. So I'm going to pick up these meerkat images, here we go. So there are my meerkats, and I'm going to resize them a little bit, and I'm going to put them behind the wall like so we can kind of see they're poking out there. And we can play a game, a bit like catchphrase. So we could say, these are the answers to a question, what was the question? So someone in my class might say, what's the one we can't spell? We can reveal a bit of our image behind. Which of these is a marsupial? Ooh. And we can also peek behind as well. You can do things like that. So you can create these kind of walls. You've also got this text bank here. Now the way the text bank works, if I click on something like kangaroo, I can go to text bank and I can get a dictionary definition of a kangaroo. So, and we're actually putting, well, the idea is over the next few months we're putting a Welsh dictionary in here as well. Which I'll see. So, well, we're not writing the dictionary, we're just looking it up. So you can pick these things out and these definitions. If you wanted something, we've also got a kind of simple English language dictionary, so something like that might be more appropriate to find as well. Okay, so you can bring in those. Also, what you've got here is you've got this encyclopedia. This has got loads of other stuff. So, for example, I might be interested to know that wild kangaroos are shot for meat. It's got a longer article. So, if we're doing some on food chains, you might want to bring in. If you had EAL learners in your class, you had someone who was Chinese who didn't know what kangaroo is, I could bring in the Chinese kangaroo or the Polish kangaroo, stuff like that. And we're going to, the next version of software, we're putting a better translation engine, and so there's lots and lots of different, more languages basically. But the third of these banks is the activity bank, and this is the most interesting bit, because the way this works is it entirely relies on teachers to contribute their own resources, and we've got about 20,000 there at the minute. But if you go to File and you go to Save As, you can save the resource that you've made, and then once you save it to your own computer, it asks you if you want to share what you've made with other teachers, and if you click on Allow Sharing, it takes that file and it uploads it to the activity bank where anyone else can access it. Now, someone seems to, the last thing actually seems to be a female condom quiz, which is excellent.
How uncomfortable do you know?
I actually noticed this about 3 minutes ago, so I was going to do that. But you can search for things, and these are the things that are uploaded today. So something on dinosaur eggs, something on theme cards, some Swedish crosswords, something on flags, 2D shapes, something on indices, measurement and conversion, choosing your units. So lots and lots of different stuff, crossword on Monet. But these are just the things that have been uploaded today. But you can also go here and you can search for stuff. So say we were doing something like what we were doing here, I could go up and I can search for animals, and I can find a resource there. Ooh, at least I thought I could, to do with animals. So I wouldn't have had to bother making that because someone else has already made it. And also we're kind of getting people going on there and they're doing Welsh translations of them as well. So I think if I go and search, or at least I think if I search, how do you spell animal in Welsh?
A-N.
Yeah.
I-F. A-I-L.
A-N-I-F-A-I-L.
Yeah.
There we go. So we can see someone takes the original resource and you can translate it into Welsh. So you can kind of, hopefully, as more and more of you use it, you'll put more and more Welsh stuff on, and it'll become more valuable for Welsh teachers. So we're only just getting started on that, but that's quite good. So there's that. So lots and lots of bits and pieces you can use in the activity bank, essentially, and you can kind of upload there. And why don't we have a go with the handsets? Because that's a really fun bit. So if you, I don't know if I've got quite enough, but hopefully most people have got a handset. Has anyone not got one? Got one here, there's a couple here. You're good, okay. Oh, there you go. Right, so the idea of this, essentially, is press a key, any key on your handset will do, and what you'll see is a number appears on your handset screen. And this corresponds with a number up here on the board. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to get me going, just to remember that number, because that's going to be important. Obviously you're much more than the number. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to type in your name. And the way to do this is to use your left thumb on the left-hand side, and your right thumb on the right-hand side, type your name in, and then press the submit key in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and it'll send your name up to the board. Oh, capitals, there's a shift on the left, there's a shift key underneath the A. Okay, so make sure you press the submit key in the bottom left, otherwise your name won't go up. Cool. Don't worry about second names, we won't stand on formality. That blue key in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Okay, so just a few more seconds on that. Now, has anyone used these sort of things before? These sort of things? Okay, so lots of different flavours of them. Rather than just doing quizzes, you can use them in lots of different ways. One really easy thing you can do is you can just use them as a buzzer. So if you can't be bothered to create anything, you see you've got a buzzer on your screen. And I can say, what's the capital of France? The first person to press a key on their handset, it comes up with the name. The annoying one. Excellent. So he could answer the question. And I might say to someone else, what's the capital of Germany? And Sarah can answer it. So we could kind of ask questions in that way. So that's one thing we could do. Another way we could use this is we could use it on something like our sentence that I typed in at the beginning. So rather than writing, 10 questions, 10 right answers, 30 wrong answers, I could just ask a question of these tiles up on the board. So I could say to you, which one of these is an anagram of a season of the year? Okay, which one's an anagram of a season of the year? Shall I compare thee to a... Press the letter.
I know it is.
So, okay, 3, don't press the cancel key. 3, 2, 1, just the letter. 3, 2, 1. Cool. So I can see 22 of us went for M, and 1 of us went for M. So we can see someone's was the right answer, and Shell's was wrong. So that makes sense, doesn't it? Okay. Do you want to do animals or flags?
Oh, animals.
Do you want to do it in Welsh or English?
Welsh.
Okay, I'll do it in English, because obviously I think, it could be contentious otherwise. But I've got my flags, my animals up on the board. So I'd like you, should we do it in Welsh?
No.
Okay, so I've got my, what kind of hole I might be jumping into. So I've got my animals up on here. Try and remember them if you can. Okay. You don't have to remember all of them. You're going to still see the pictures. But like things like goldfish is goldfish. I'm going to move them around because I don't need to. Okay. So the way this works, okay, is on your the handset. Do you see in the bottom right-hand corner? There's like an up, a down, a left, and a right key. Can you see that? Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to press the blue kind of right-hand directional key on your handset, you see that one. And what you'll see is your little chip comes out, and you can use the up, down, left, right keys to move around. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to move to an animal up there that you know the name of, type in the name of that animal, and then press your submit key in the bottom left-hand corner. And what you'll see is you'll get a point for identifying it correctly. And you've got to use your up, down, left, right keys to move around the board, identifying as many of these animals as you can. So lion has been answered by 4 different people. So that tile is now flipped over and is out of the game. When all of the tiles flip over, the game ends. So you've got to get as many points as you can before that happens.
God damn it.
Now, remember, you can only get points by identifying the ones where the pictures are showing. So get off the text into the images. So it's what we got left there. Only 2.
Oh, funny.
Should you how many people find your eyes?
I can't see what I need to know.
Oh, there we go. So it's the end of the game. And then I can look and I can see on the leaderboard, first place is the annoying one, 5 points. So that's a really kind of simple, straightforward way of using it. And you know, it doesn't have to be about pictures. You could just do it with maths questions. But we won't do that. Okay, final thing I would like you to do. Obviously you've seen quite a few things at Teach Meet today, and there's lots and lots of useful things you can take away from it. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to think about one thing that you would take away from today that you've learned or really interested you or you thought was a good thing. And I'd like you, or maybe something you'd have liked to have been different about it, but what I'd like you to do is type that in on your handset for me. Okay, so if you press a key on your handset, what you'll see is there's a box on your handset screen. And I'd like you to tell me one thing that you found particularly interesting at Teach Meet today, and type that in on your handset. And in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a space bar. Underneath the P, there's a delete key. Okay, and I'd like you to send it up to the board. One of the other things I should say about this is it's a really easy way of collecting assessment data. So all of the different things that we've done, it's collected the information about what we've done. So in terms of like, kind of, you know, assessing people's progress and tracking how they're doing, it's a really easy way of showing how students have moved on either within the lesson or over the course of the term. Okay, so if I go into TextPack, I can see some of the feedback we had about Teach Meet. So we can see NGSFL literary resources and forums. These are amazing. Can I please have one? Well, I'll be happy to come into school, Dan, and show it to people if you want. Extending learning for Graham. Cool. Interaction. Prezi, that's good, isn't it? What else have we got here? People engagement. Cakes, yes, I thoroughly agree with it. Very true. What have we got? Increasing parental involvement. Thank you, Michelle. Okay. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Being shown around. Yeah, okay, that's cool, Kerry. Lots of new ideas on Moodle. What have we got here? And Purple Mash, yeah, that's good. The guy who made it will be very happy to know that. So what have we got? So, adding a chat forum as well. I think that kind of, nursery content. I found it all amazing. There's a ringing endorsement there, Elizabeth. So we've got lots and lots of ideas there up on the board, and what I'm kind of I would like to find out more about. Yeah. Now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to tell me. You know, out of these things, kind of, is there any sentiment that you particularly agree with, or you kind of, that strikes a chord with you? So now what you can do is, for the one that best sums up how you feel, I'd like you to press the letter on your handset for me. So just press the letter for the one that kind of, you know, best sums up. Which one are you going to go for, those, that wall of ideas? And just press the letter on your handset. If you do this for kids, you have to say, don't just vote for your own. So, okay, and then we can look and we see what we all thought, and we can see awesome. So cakes, I think. Oh no, and great nursery content. Hey, awesome.
It says nursery.
Brilliant.
Nursery content.
Thanks very much, everyone. What I would finally just say is, if this is something that you think people might be interested in seeing in your school, I'm very, very happy to come and show it to people, and of course give them an idea to use the software. Oh yeah, you do want to know that. So for a set of 32 of these, and the receiver and the box, they are about 1,900 quid.
But the software's free.
But the software's free. So if you want the software, jot your details down. And if it's something you think you might want in school, something you can share around lots of class, I'm happy to come and show it.
Thank you, Josh.